Hello and welcome back to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life, and today I'm going to be painting a horse, yes. Let's see how successful we can be with this. I've taken the liberty of gessoing the canvas, which is a 20 by 24 inch canvas. You can use any size canvas you want. If you want to use a smaller canvas, then please do that. I just found this lying on the floor under the easel, and I thought, well, I just as well gesso it and use it. And I've taken the liberty of putting a sketch on there of a horse. That is available on the website www.cli5art.co.uk if you want to pop along and copy that tracing. It doesn't matter whether you use a grid method or you freehand or you trace. Just get an image on there, because it's not so much about the drawing, it's more about the actual painting itself. That's what we're concerned about today. One of the things I am asked about is limited palettes. What is a limited palette? So if you've never painted before, then obviously you wouldn't know what a limited palette is. A limited palette is just a limited amount of colours. You could just use the primary colours, or in this case I'm using Prussian blue, a Mars black and some titanium white. That's all I'm going to be using today. And I've just got a small selection of brushes, short flats, a little filbert and a detail brush. So what I'm going to do straight off, I've got some liquid clear, I got some flow improver there, and I've got some medium mix, and these are available on the website www.cli5art.co.uk if you want to pop along there. Okay, so very quickly I'm just going to get some black, and I'm mixing a little bit of blue to that, just to blue it up a bit, and I'm just going to establish some blacks on my painting here. So I've got a little bit of black going in the ear there. I'm going to use a bit of flow improver just to get the paint to flow. There we go. You can see how easy that is to actually get that paint to flow, just using a little bit of flow improver. And I will be making a lesson on flow improver, what it's used for and what is it basically. That's another question I get asked a lot about all the mediums and things we get that we can use in the studio. So I'm just establishing some blacks just to give me an idea where things are going to be. I'm not going to be painting the horse directly. It's going to be more about getting the background in. I want to try and get the background in first. And this is not going to be a detailed painting of the horse. This is going to be a bit of a impressionistic type of painting. That's the type of style I seem to be going down at the moment, and it lends itself quite well to something like this. It really does. So I'm just getting in some of my blackest blacks in place, and it's always a good idea to just use a bit more flow improver. It's always a good idea to establish your blacks first, and then you can work on your mid-tones then, and then carry on through the painting, put some highlights in, and be surprised how things will actually come together. I'm not the best at painting horses, but we will get there. We got some hair that's going to be a mane, I should say, not hair, it's a mane that's going to be coming down there like that. Now this is going to be a white horse, and I want to paint this horse in moonlight. That's the idea. I have painted this painting before, and I've actually got it to my left hand side there, which I'm looking at, and that was a study that I did a while ago. So I thought it would be good if I recreated that a bit, and I'll show you that later on as the lesson progresses there. So all we're going to do is just trying to establish old what can we call him? Should we call him Dobbin? That's normally a name we can associate with horses, isn't it? Dobbin. His neck is coming down in that direction, so we need to put a little bit of dark under there like that. So I'm just going to wash that brush out very quickly. The next stage is to get a short flat. I'm just going to get a little bit of Prussian blue there onto my brush. I'm going to bring that over there. I'm going to add a little bit of white. I've separated the white in 2 piles. This is the white I'm going to add to my colours. I don't want to contaminate all my white if I can help it. So I'm going to get quite a lighter blue. There we go. And I'm looking at my horse, and I want to just put a few little lighter bits in like this. These are just little guidelines for me. Maybe I'll leave a little bit of this canvas showing through. I haven't quite decided yet. There you go. Let's get some more blue. So I'm putting a darker blue there, a lighter blue there, so I can balance between the two of them. I don't want to do too much work here yet, but I just want to get the shape, because the bone structure on a horse is quite a complicated thing to accomplish, and I want to try and establish this bone structure now before I lose that. I'm going to come in. Like I said, I'm not a horse painter, so, but I'll get there, I hope. Am I happy with that so far? Yes, I think maybe I'll leave that as is for the moment. There you go. Let's just put a little bit more lighter blue under there. Can you see what I'm doing so far? I hope you can. I'm going to wash my brush very quickly. Now I'm going to work into the background. I'm going to pick up a number 20 short flat, because I want to go straight into some Prussian blue. And I want to come in quite dark down here, like this. This is going to be a moonlit night. Oh hi, it's a moonlit night tonight. There's a little bit of a Scottish humour going on there. Oh, a nice Prussian blue colour. A little bit of flow improver. What flow improver does, it basically stops the surface tension of the paint. It loosens it up then. In layman's terms, what it does, the additive that is flow improver reacts with the paint and eases the surface tension of the paint against the canvas. That way it's allowing the paint to actually smoothly run over the surface of the canvas, and that's all flow improver does. It is exactly what it says on the tin. It improves the flow of paint without, and just added a little bit of black, without actually affecting the permanency of the paint and the pigment. Then it doesn't thin it down. It doesn't thin your paint down. It just allows the paint to smoothly flow over the surface of the canvas or canvas board or whatever substrate you're actually working on. And that's all it does. It's as simple as that. There's nothing complicated regarding flow improver. And it's one of the most widely asked mediums, questions I get about mediums is, what is flow improver? And I hope just watching me paint with this flow improver now and explaining what it actually does. You should never add more than, I think, on the brand, some brands, like the brand I'll put on the screen now, some brands will tell you not to use more than about, I think about 30%. It's a bit basically like water, so you should never use more than 40% with water, with your painting, because it does break down the molecular bonds of the paint. I'm just trying to just go around my outline there. There we go. Just trying to get this in. And that's basically flow improver in a nutshell. Just blending in. When you blend in with this, just lift your brush, just lift the pressure off the brush just a touch, just to get that blend in like that. Let's get a bit more Prussian blue, a little bit more white, a little bit more flow improver. Building up a bit of paint. We need a fair bit of paint here, so we want to go a little bit lighter just again there, because I want a bit of glow coming off a moon, which is going to be situated over there somewhere to my left. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't look for perfect. It's effective. We want effective. So I'm just pulling a bit of that Prussian blue over. I'm just adding a bit of black to it because I want to darken this sky up the top end here like this. Again, I am washed my brush. There might be a little bit of glare coming off the lights on the canvas, so I do apologise for that. A little bit more flow improver. I thought it'd be good today to show you how to use flow improvers and stuff. Get some clouds in there in a second, because we can't have a moonlit sky without clouds. And spend some time blending these colours together like that. It's really nice to play with paint like this. And if you've never blended before, then it's good practice. It really is good practice. Virtually black up there now, because that's what we want, is that night sky. It's like a twilight sky coming in with a bit more Prussian blue. Get a bit of this lighter colour now. Just going around these ears like this. Blending that in. And I like working on big canvases sometimes. It makes for fun. The bigger the canvas, the more difficult things can become. If you're painting portraiture and things like that, then there's a lot more surface space to contend with, and you'll find that it's a lot more complicated. So if you're doing a portrait or something, if you zoom in a little bit more, the more you zoom into something, the more detail you've got to start putting in there. Unless you try to paint something in the way I'm going to be painting this today. I want a little bit of white here, because it's going to be a nice glow in the sky. Again, let's get a little bit of flow improver, a little bit of blue paint. I want a little bit more. I'm just using a limited palette, which really does give you you don't have to think about colours so much then. It's more about how can you use two colours, or if you don't count black and white, basically it's just one colour, isn't it? If you count the black and white as a colour, then you've got three colours to contend with. So just merging this together, letting it mix and marry. There we go. I've got a few little lumps and bumps on my canvas because this is an old canvas, as I said, I found on the floor. I should buy some new canvases actually, because I've been using my canvases over and over and over and over and over, and they've got to the point now where I think I need to go out and purchase some new ones. Because as you know, I don't always save the paintings, but if they're nice paintings then I will save them. Sometimes I give them away as gifts, sometimes I just put them on the side of the road and say take me home. which works. Coming down again, quite dark down here. It's a big canvas. I'm running out of easel space here. There we go. Lovely. I want to get a little bit of black down there. Let's put a bit of black in there like that on that blue. I like the sky so far. There we go. Just mix that together. Just get a little blend going on there. If you don't know how to blend, then just get a scrap bit of cardboard or something like that, and just practice. Just put a couple of pieces, a couple of bits of paint together, some blue and some white, and just practice blending, and just do that. I want us to be quite impressionistic today, because I quite like the impressionistic type of style that I've been painting lately. And as I said, you tend to find sometimes that you find a style that you like to do, and then that's what you do for a while, and then you all of a sudden then you find something else and you think, oh, I quite like doing that style now. Got in a little bit light there, so I'm just going to add a little bit more Prussian blue to my brushing. I'm just going to try and blend that in like this. There you go. I want a bit of a glow there anyway. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. There we go. That's nice so far. I'm just going to rest my brush in some water. I'm going to pick up a little short flat. This is a Nemo half-inch short flat, in fact. Again, I'm going to pick up some of this blue and white. I'm going to add a little bit of black to it because I want to just grey that off a little bit. Because I want to get some clouds into this midnight sky. Well, it's not midnight sky. It's like a twilight sky. I'm just going to get some. I'm just using the edge of the brush now. Just using the edge of the brush and just flicking in, I should say, some cloud shapes like this. Blending that in. I'm going to get a little, this is a little Filbert brush. It's a number 10 Filbert brush. I sell these on the website, www.clivehighart.co.uk. I'm just going to very gently blend that in. It's a little bit tacky, so I'm just going to add a little bit of flow improver to the tip of my brush, just to help blend that into that paint, because it's getting tacky. And there's just some shadows of some clouds there. Again, I'll maybe put in some clouds down there like that. Don't need to look like clouds as such, so don't worry about it. Again, dip my brush into some flow improver. I'm just going to merge that together like this. Okay. Blending it in. Keep blending. Some fluffy clouds. Fluffy clouds. Oh, a nice cloud formation there. Maybe another one just in front of that, like that. We'll put some highlights on these clouds later. Allow that to disappear then, like that. Our cloud's just floating along, minding his own business. What I'm doing with the base of that brush is exactly what I'm doing what I did down there with the Filbert brush, but it's a bit wetter up here, so I'm able to smoothly blend that in like that. Looking good so far. Now I want to get let me pick up a decent brush. Maybe is that one okay? I might go back into this one, yeah. Go back into that brush. I get some white. This is only the 1/2 inch short flat. This is number 10 short flat actually. I'm going to pick a point and I'm just going to spin round like that. That's just going to represent the moon, which we will get some glow around that in a second. Let's get this little filbert brush that we were using to blend, and I just want to get that just to glow around like that. Reshape. There's a little bit of thick paint there, which I didn't really want to pick up on my brush, but it's okay. We'll just add a little bit of like glow around there, and we can alter that shape of that moon when it's dry. There we go. What we need to put in there now is maybe another cloud. Let's just get a little bit more dark black, make it a darker grey. There you go. Now we can see it. We're going to add some highlights on that later on, and just put some low level cloud there, like that. There we go. We can add some detail to those. What I'm going to do now is dry that off with a hairdryer, and we'll have a little look at the horse, I think. Okay, so that should be hopefully dry enough. I hope I haven't got too much a light glare on this canvas. Okay, so let's pick up a I'm just going to go into a short flat. This is just a number 10 or a half-inch short flat. Again, we're going to go into some blue. I'm not going to paint as such. I'm just going to put lines in like this. Let's just put some lines in. This is going to be a white horse, by the way. So we want to get a bit of that moonlight look about it. So I'm going to be adding some white straight into the blue as I put it on, because I want to build up some shadows as well. Maybe a little bit of black just under there. Maybe let's get some Prussian blue. I want to darken that up just a little bit there, just to make it look like as if it's the bottom of the cheek. So little lines like this, flicky lines. Adding a little bit of black to the Prussian blue, just to get some dark in. I'm trying to build. Let's try and build the nose area up a little bit there, like that. Let's go some more Prussian blue. Just add a little bit of white, just to the tip of my brush. I've never really been a horsey person. It's not something I've never ridden a horse, actually. That's something I would like to do. I think I would like to actually be able to ride a horse, but I never had the opportunity to, which is quite a shame, really. So just lines. I'm not blending in like this. I'm not blending in like that. I'm just putting little flicky lines in. Just to get that shape of this lovely horse. How many horses have I painted? Let me think. I think it's about 3. With this one it'll be about 4. There you go. I did get stepped on once by a donkey. I broke my foot. Not broke broke my toe, actually. Not my foot. I broke my toe. So that hurt. I was only young then. I think I said about that in another video somewhere. Can't remember when I said that, but I'm sure I said that in another video somewhere. Just trying to get that shape that I'm looking for. Let's concentrate up here a bit more. What a lovely horse. I got a friend that likes horses. It's quite strange, really, because I've never been on a horse. I've never been invited to have a go at a horse. I'd like to, I think. I used to work on a farm when I was younger. So I've done my share of mucking out horses and things, but that's about as far as it's gone, I think. Just trying to get the shape that I'm looking for. Now you might be better at this than me, because you might know how to paint horses, or you might have a horse. It's looking okay. I'm quite happy with it so far. I'm kind of mindful that there's going to be a lot of moonlight on this horse. So I want to get some blue in there, but I also want some white as well. I don't mind a little bit of that canvas actually coming through. We can put some more blocks of colour in. As this dries, we can add a bit more colour to it. There we go. I want it quite dark there. Let's get some nice Prussian blue down. This could act as a shadow then. Just underneath his neckline there. Just getting these strokes to go in different directions. It's going to be quite dark under there as well, but we'll just get a bit of light in it now. I'm trying to I want to paint like this. I want a nice smooth blend. That's what I want to do, but I'm trying to stop myself from doing that because I want to see these brush strokes. Again, across this top, it's going to be a bit bluer there. There's going to be a bit of light coming on there, like that. Just getting these lines to try and contour the, or give it an impression of, because this is an impressionistic type of painting, so we need to give an impression of maybe where this body is going to be. And there's going to be a bit of shadow in there, which we will add in as this white paint dries, because if we put a shadow colour on top of that now, it's just going to go grey or blue, and we don't want that yet. And I want a bit of that canvas to come through as well. Let's get some more white. What might help in a minute is if I put the mane in place, because that's the main feature. That's going to be the main feature. Let's just get these lines to follow some contours. There we are. That'll do for now. Let's get a bit of blue, a bit more white, I think. I think we need to get this to come around a bit more. We'll spend a little bit of time doing some detail around the eye, I think, in a minute. There we are. That's looking okay. I quite like the look of this so far. Let's get some greyer type of colour into the inner part of this ear, like this. I don't want to blend it too much. I want to keep these lines in place. There you go. Make that a little bit squarer there, like that. I want a bit darker, bit darker, bit darker. Trying to get that ear shape. I didn't know that, you know how a horse is emotionally. If he puts his ears forward like this, he can be quite stressed and ready to kick. And when his ears are backwards like that, he's a bit more relaxed. And I learned that from playing Red Dead Redemption. Because every time I went up to a horse to steal some stuff out of the saddlebags, I get kicked. And it dawned on me that every time the horse's ears were pointing forward, I'd get kicked. So I would go up to him and pat him and make friends with him, and his ears would fall back, and I could steal the stuff out of the saddlebags. I love playing PlayStation games and things, and I really do. Right, I was going to say I get a kick out of it, but not as much as the horse did. I want to get some light just around the edge of the ear like that, and maybe a little bit there. Like that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch my brush. I'm going to get that Filbert brush that we used to blend the clouds in. I'm just going to go straight into some black, some flow improver, because I want this to quite a thin, runny type of paint. And I'm just going to put in some lines like this just to build up some of the mane. Just go back into some black. Now I did promise you that I would show you what I'm actually working from. So I'm just going to stop that a minute. I'm going to show you what I'm working from. This is a painting that I did a number of years ago, in fact. There you go, as you can see. So we got two horses. That's the painting that I did a number of years ago. So I thought I'd work from that and try and recreate that for you today. And it's always good to do that, because you can see how you've improved. So if you've got a painting that you've done and you want to see how you've improved, paint it again. Paint it again. And that's what a lot of people do, just to see how they've improved. And I've done that a number of times with portraits. And I'm not the best portrait artist in the world, but I've learnt a lot by redoing some portraits and stuff. So that's just going to come across. That's just going to pick up a bit of the wet paint that's there. So I'm okay with that, because I can put some more layers on this at the moment. So try not to copy what you've already done 100%, but try to improve on it and see how your skills have improved. I'm not going to put any more on black on there, because there's some white paint that's loose, wet, not loose, it's wet. So I'll do that in a minute. Okay, what I want to do now is wash that brush. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to go straight into some neat Prussian blue, and I'm just going to put some lines in like this. I don't want it too thin. I want to see some paint. There we go. Get a bit of black into that Prussian blue. I'm going to put some more Prussian blue on my palette in a minute, because what I want to do is just work around this side just a touch like this. want these lines to come in like that. It's quite dark there, so I'm going to get a little bit of light. I'll just pull in some lines of white like this. Just constantly building up the layers, and to get this nice impressionistic type of layers that we can build with this. Anatomically, it's a big word, anatomically a little bit out, I think, but I'm happy with it so far. As I said, it's more about impressionism than being perfect. And sometimes a little bit of paint put on in the right place can make such a big difference, I think. What I'm going to do is let that dry. I think I'm going to move on to the clouds a little bit now. I'm just going to give it a quick zip over with hairdryer. I think that should be enough for now. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a little short flat. This is a small one, a very, very tiny short flat. I didn't put that in my brush selection, but I just want to use a little bit of light. I just want to get a little bit of light just on the top of these clouds, like just as if it's just catching a little bit of that moonlight. Don't want a lot. Don't want a lot. Don't overdo this. Just like as if it's just catching a little bit of light there, like that. Just to balance off the blue. Blue moon. Dee 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 dee. There we go. Nice. I'm going to do a little bit down here as well. Just a little bit, just a smidgen. Just a smidgen highlight. Just a smidgen highlight, just to make it out as if there's a little bit of light. Very little paint on my brush now. Just picking up highlight on this, on these clouds. It's just like a little bit of moonlight just drifting along there. Just catching on these wonderful clouds. There we go. We also need to put some highlight, because I've looking at my painting, I put a lot of highlight there in the clouds themselves. So yeah, he's looking a little bit more regal at the moment. It looks like one of the undead horses from the Game of Thrones. But we will improve on that in a minute. Winter's coming. A little bit of cloud highlight there. Just be loose. Impressionistic is the word. So I'm just going to get my cork on the stick. I want to brighten up this moon a little bit. There we go. Take some paint off my brush. Blend that virtually into nothing and get that glow coming around. Get some paint on the brush, dry brush. Get some glow coming off it like that. Get a little bit of grey, on the edge there like that. And just put a little bit of pattern into this moon. Make it look real if you can. That's all it needs, a little bit of grey just to make it look like a moon. There you go. Nice blue moon there. Blue moon. Right. I need a little detail brush. So I'm going to pick up a detail brush. There we are. I got a small detail brush here. So I don't really know what brushes I'm going to be using during a painting. But you know, if you feel like picking up a brush and you think, well, Clive didn't use that type of brush. He used a number 10 short flat or something. But I haven't got a number 10 short flat, but I want to use this number instead. Well, use it. Your painting might require a different type of brush than mine. So don't be afraid to use whatever comes to hand. Like I said, try not to copy things 100%, because you'll never learn. Change it a bit. Change it a little bit. There we are. I'm going to get some blue just on the tip of that brush, because I want to put a bit of blue just on the back of that ear. Just like that. There you go. I'm going to get some grey, because I want to grey that up in there a bit. I don't want to lose this effect that I got. It's been a bit of flow improver. I got this blue, white, and it's got a bit of grey on my brush as well. That's cool. So I just want to just get a little bit of, a few little lines here and there and here, just to try and get this eye to look a little bit more eye-like. There we go. Just picking up a little bit of pure white paint now. Let's try and blend that into there. I want to try and get that eye to look as it should look. There we go. A few little lines here and there with a smaller brush. Should get that to sit down quite nice in there, I think. We need to get a little bit of, a couple of little tiny lines just here and there. I'm going to put a little flash of white there. I'm just going to lift this eyebrow, because you're not going to see much of this eye. You're going to see a little bit of the eye, but not a lot, because there could be some little eyelashes or something there. I'm just going to clean that brush very quickly, because I want to get some blue around that eye there to close that down. When you start doing things like this, you can start to make mistakes upon mistakes and recover mistakes, but that's the process of painting. You need to make mistakes and recover mistakes in order to get the effect you were looking for. Right, let's go back into some white. I want to go into this nose area, and I also want to put a flash of white there. Back into some black. Don't mind if it goes a little bit grey, that doesn't worry me. Just doing that nostril like that. painting a bit more black in here and there, like that. It's taking the time now just to try and get the shape that I'm looking for. Just as I said, this is an interpretation of it's an impression of a horse. It's not going to be, I don't care if it's anatomically correct, and I don't mind if it's all painted. There's bits of canvas showing through there, but I just want to get that look of a horse that's in moonlight. I want to put a bit of light back by there. It's looking quite nice. I'm happy with the way this is going at the moment. So I'm going to back into my Filbert brush. I'm picking up some more white paint now, directly onto that. And I just want to just basically try and catch some light that's falling on this. Don't forget, this is a white horse, so he's going to be covered in moonlight as well, which is the blue. But there's going to be a lot of light catching, so we need to build up his white area now. Trying not to be too it's easy to overpaint this. It's easy to put too much blending type of technique into it. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't want that. You want it to be painterly. It's a word. You want it painterly. You want to see the paint marks. You want to see the brush marks. You want it to look painterly. Painterly is a word for you, isn't it? It is. I was inventing a new word. It's now painterly. The power of some brush strokes makes a big difference. It really does. I want to get some white. Got a frog in my throat today. Read it. There you go. That's looking nice. I quite like that. I quite like that. I do. I'm going to get some Prussian blue. I just wiped my brush off into my kitchen paper there. I'm just going to put some blue in here and there. Bit of colour just under there. How's that looking? It's looking pretty good. It looks a bit like a moonlit horse. I hope it does. Anyway, let's get some more light coming down. Here now, like that. 'Cause that's his neck. Don't like the way that is going there, so we need to get a little bit of blue to give it that essence of maybe some shadow. You see what I mean by sometimes you can just overpaint things, and instead of leaving things alone, we can damage things, and that's exactly what I did by there. So I'm just going to get a bit more white. Now I've got to try and correct that bit. Sometimes, if it looks okay, leave it. If it doesn't look okay, try not to adjust it too much. That's the only advice I can give. Because sometimes you can just overwork something without even really thinking about what you're doing. So I want to get some black and get some flow improver. And I want to get some, oops, that's a bit thick. Get some black there like that. Get some black down there into his mane. There you go, looking nice. I'm happy so far. What I want to do now is get a little bit of light on the end of my brush, because I want to just flick in maybe just a few light flicks like this. We don't need all black, because it could be just catching a little bit of light. I'm going to let that dry in a minute. I'm just going to put a little bit more black on top of that. That doesn't look too bad actually. I quite like the way that looks actually. I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to get some more black on my brush. Quite thick paint. A little bit of flow improver. There we go. Quite like that. I think I'm not going to get it much better than that. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. That's pretty good copy of painting that I did a few years ago. There you go. There's the original, and there's one I painted today. So you can see they're quite different, but very similar. And I'm very happy with that. So have a go. Don't be put off, and check on your back work. The work you've done before. Try and repaint things. Try and repaint things and see if you can learn from that and see how you've improved. If you like what you've seen today, don't forget to click the subscribe button down there, and over there is the Patreon button, or a button to go to www.clivehighart.co.uk, where you can find the shop. Any of those will support me, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And thank you very much for joining me in the studio today, where we painted this wonderful horse in Moonlight.